Hey, what's going on, fam? You are now tuned into the Pure Black Dope podcast, and you are tuned in with that man, Taj AlexandHer, the Holy Trinity of hip hop. And to my left, I got my mans over here. Go ahead and introduce yourself, brother.
Yeah, it is Webb Primo, aka the Shore Side Shorty, representing the Eastern Shore. My man Taj.
Yeah, and Sam is not going to be with us tonight. She had a family emergency, so us two brothers is going to hold it down for the 9-9 and the 2. But listen, fam, we got an interesting discussion going on because we ran into this Facebook post, and everything happening on Facebook, ain't it? Facebook be provoking a lot of things. But listen, we ran into this Facebook post, and what did the post say? The post was basically, let me paraphrase it a little bit. It says, oh, my man got it right here. It says, so you can't be pro-black with a non-significant black, what is that? Non-black significant other. So basically it's saying, can you be pro-black and have a non-black lover, right?
Right.
So, we've been kind of chiming in on this subject for a little bit, and it kind of raises some eyebrows. It kind of raises some suspicion as well, because, there's this whole narrative about how people are up in an uproar saying that if you talk about black issues or you talk about, being pro-black, talk about civil rights, and whatever struggles that black people had, and they have a guy has a white girlfriend or a white wife, or a woman, a black woman has a white husband or a white boyfriend, then they can't really stand for the culture, right? Ain't that
right. Or of any descent,
any other descent other than being black, right?
Right.
And I think this is really, it's kind of crazy to think about, knowing that. All right, so I feel like the whole narrative is being pushed by a lot of Pan-African leaders or black like and I'm not saying that these people specifically said it. He basically saying that, if you are dealing with a white person, having sex with a white person, and you're black, then you can't be out here representing the black culture. Basically saying you're basically the traitor. You're just not somebody that we want representing us, right?
Right.
But the thing is, we gotta kind of scroll through history a little bit, and we gotta scroll through the present, because there are a lot of people in history who have made a significant difference in the black community, and they were married or are married to a white significant other.
Yeah, or anyone outside of their race.
Right, and somebody else. See, I'm stuck on the white thing.
Yeah, well, because that's the American discussion. Because I'm not, I don't know what goes on the other side of the world, but I'm sure it's the same thing. You know what I mean? Because even like if you look at even in some Egyptian cultures or something like that, they won't let somebody, or Indian cultures, they won't let somebody outside of their race marry. Mm-hmm. And that's most of it's based on religion and stuff like that. But here in America, it's a cultural thing that we try to push, but people are so uneducated with so many different things that they don't even realize that they've been blinded on the fact that it doesn't matter who your significant other is. If you are for the same people of your own color, then go for it. If you're going to better the little boys and girls that are the same color as you for the future, then go for it. It doesn't have nothing to do with your significant other or what your kids look like. They're going to be a part of you regardless.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's funny you mentioned kids, because from what I've seen, every black man that has had a baby by a white woman, the kid turned out with black features, right?
Right.
Maybe maybe the hair is not exactly like, like Lil Wayne say, tougher than Nigerian hair. Maybe not exactly, but
Right.
there's still black features there. If a black man has a baby by a white woman, and we are in the 1920s, I think that baby is still going to be identified as a black baby.
Right. And even back then, in the 1920s and stuff, you look back at the colleges and different fraternities and sororities and stuff like that. They did that brown paper bag test, whereas you couldn't join if you were darker than the brown paper bag. You know what I'm saying? Even if you go back to the Plessy versus Ferguson case, you know what I'm saying, where the guy, you know what I mean, looked so white. You know what I mean? He looked like a white person, but you know what I mean. He was considered a black person on his card and stuff. He was sitting where the white folks were sitting at on the train and stuff.
And he blended in.
And he looked white. But because it was on his card, he got, you know.
Yeah, like a black or black dad or black mom.
Yeah,
like
down the line, because he was almost, you know, he looked fully Caucasian for real. You know what I mean? There's celebrities like that today. You know,
that look like they Caucasian, but they really black.
Right. Yeah. In fact, one to date for real is it was a guy. He let me look up his name real quick. But you ever heard of the movie called Gone with the Wind?
Yeah.
All right. So the male lead role in there, he is like 1/8 African American.
Yeah.
And the black woman on that movie who was like the help in the house. Yeah. She had earned like an Oscar for her performance, a supporting role. Yeah. And they wouldn't let her go and get her award during the ceremony. So
because she was too dark.
Right. Yeah. But they wouldn't have none of that shit back there. That was in the 40s and shit. Yeah. 30s and 40s, whatever. Yeah. And so he went on stage and gave an acceptance speech on her behalf, and understood, like he kind of pushed like how, you know, we need to stop the racism and stuff. I think part of his speech was going along the lines of that, trying to break in the barriers in Hollywood, because of she was, you know what I mean, a big part of that movie. Yeah,
for sure. I know. Go ahead, look it up. But the thing is, like, it's funny that you said the dude had like 1 or 2% black in him, but you would never know. The crazy thing is, I was at my son's was a football game, I think it was a football game or a lacrosse game, one of them. But
his name was Clark Gable.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for sure. But I went to my son's game, and there was this other black dude that was there, and he was telling me about this other part of Maryland. I think it was Annapolis, and he was telling me how like downtown Annapolis used to be all black, and there used to be black-owned stores, black-owned bars, black-owned pharmacists, and all that stuff. And then, you know, over time, I guess genocide happened, and now it's not like that. But one thing that he was telling me, he's probably like maybe my complexion, something like that. But he was saying that he had family members in his immediate family that were Caucasian. You would line his family members up, let's say it's 20 people or 10 people, and, you know, some of them would be, you know, with Caucasian skin, but they were all blood, they were all family. And I think it's really weird. Everybody claims, I think the whole argument is, you know, having kids, people want to keep 100% pure blood in their kids or whatever. They don't want to taint it with like you know, Mexican or white or any other race. They want black and black.
That's where that lack of education come in, because none of us are pure.
We not pure black.
We all mutt.
right. We all some mutts, right? Yeah. It's funny, man. And the thing is, like I was telling you before, I got some friends over where they're from Africa, specifically Nigeria, right? And right now, he's in the U.S. right now. Shout out to my homie Dan. But yo, this dude is dark, son. And most of the Africans and a lot of Jamaicans that I've seen are really dark. Blue black. And I don't see too many blue black African Americans in America. It's either Your my complexion, mocha, caramel. It's all kind of shades, right?
Yeah, that's where the African American gets his own shade from, though, because really, Africa is a continent.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's just showing you right there that you are mutt. So you can't even trace back what part of Africa you from.
Yeah,
because there's multiple countries in there.
Yeah.
So like that's I think. Because like we was talking before, like there's parts of Africa where some people look Asian. There's parts of Africa, like I dated a girl from her family comes from East Africa,
mm-hmm.
and they're Egyptian mm-hmm. Area and all that stuff. Egypt,
they
like
Jordan.
lighter skin, like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So like, and that's near like the Middle East and stuff you talking about. So that's why it's crazy. You know what I mean?
It is crazy, man. It's funny you going on that side of the world. It's a whole nother thing on that side of the world.
Yeah.
I've been to places like Poland. I've been to Germany, Switzerland, Iceland, and I've never had bad treatment over these places. And keep in mind, I'm a black man. I'm not even 6 feet tall. Maybe an inch under 6 feet tall, 2 inches under 6 feet tall, and I'm not like some intimidating figure. And people are treating me with love. They're treating me with respect. People think that if you black, then you basically doomed for, the worst treatment in the world. And like I was telling you, I'm not really for all that victimization and thinking I'm inferior and all that. I'm ready to break all that down every minute that I think of it. It's not cool to me to be like, oh, you're black, you can't do such and such, or people are keeping such and such from you. Like, fuck that, man. That's limiting yourself. But like people, and like we was talking about the people who are celebrities who have impacted the earth, mm-hmm. like names like Frederick Douglass, mm-hmm. right? He had a white wife, right?
Yeah, and his father was white.
And his dad was white.
Yeah.
And I bet you he done more work for the black community than anybody that's talking shit about, people having a non-black significant other these days. He's done more work than a lot of people.
And to touch on that, like for him being known for doing so much for his people of color, in the most positive and non-violent way at the time, because it was all about revolt. And around the time when he was coming up too, talking about Harriet Tubman and the Nat Turners and
mm-hmm.
stuff, who, you know what I mean, that's all they knew was to fight fire with
rising
fire.
Up, fighting back.
You know what I mean, we had to overcome it, and they did their part too. But you look at how Frederick Douglass educated himself way more than they could have. He was way more privileged.
Mm-hmm.
He actually had access to books and stuff. Mm-hmm. So with him having knowledge and see how powerful his words were without being violent, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. See, that's an interesting thing. You keep bringing up some interesting shit. Because you said Frederick Douglass had access to the books. And one thing that's really gray to me, it's a real gray area about slavery and us being oppressed, is why were there... Alright, so there's this whole narrative about there's a lot of black people, or all black people or whatever, were slaves. But that's not true, because there were a lot of black people who weren't slaves. Frederick Douglass example, he had, and he was in the early 1900s.
Yeah, 1800s.
Was he in the late 1800s or early 19?
He was born in the early 1800s.
Let me see something.
He's an old cat, yo.
He old?
Yeah,
is he that old?
He went in the 1900s, most definitely. He was a slave. His siblings, his half siblings, were the ones that gave him access to the books. He wasn't supposed to be reading,
but he
had access to it because of his half siblings.
That was his leg up on the competition.
Yeah, you know what I mean. He was still a slave though. I ain't gonna hold that out. But
okay.
But
oh yeah, good lord.
Yeah, see,
so he was in the early 1800s.
Yeah.
And he was born in Cordova.
Yeah.
Cordova.
Yeah, he Murderland.
Eastern Shore.
But even on that note, yo, on the hilltop where I'm from,
mm-hmm.
that's a historic area, yo. Like it dates back to the first free slaves buying property on the hilltop, as early as the 1790s. They were slaves that had access. They bought their freedom, and that's how they ended up being. That was the hill was the black community at the time, and how I learned that. I ain't learned in school.
Yeah, you had to go.
I learned it from my mom. She was walking from the store, and this group of white kids came up to her. They were students from France. Yeah, and they were they came to America to Eastern Maryland to do research on the people who lived here or lived in Eastern, and talk about the history behind it. My mom didn't even know about this stuff. She came to me and told me. Then a couple of years later, I think in like 2011, they had some type of ceremony down in New Orleans about the hilltop, and then that's how it started, branch out. And it's crazy.
It's got a real famous vibe.
The hill, Maryland,
That is crazy, right?
City,
That's kind of crazy, man. But I always wonder how there's this whole aspect, because I saw that one movie. Was it 12 Years a Slave? And the guy, he wasn't a slave until he got drunk with the other guys, and then he basically woke up in chains. But but when he was up north, he wasn't a slave at all. He was like a respected figure walking around. He
played fiddle, right?
Did he play the fiddle?
Yeah, I think so.
I can't remember what he played, man, but I remember the movie a little bit.
He had to make some money somehow.
That was his hustle, right? But yeah, man, it's kind of crazy how there was that part, and it's not really being talked about. Even what you just talked about as far as the hilltop, man, and the whole community.
It's forgotten, Look at the hilltop now.
Yeah.
It's forgotten,
But it's not being talked about though. I feel like that should be a course in Easton High School.
It should be,
You know what I'm saying?
It's all part of I feel like gentrification has always been a plan with areas, different areas. It's just that's how they can control you, That's what I was talking about. How the Klan is no longer violent anymore, They more strategic. They in the White House working for the president. You know what I mean? They in city council controlling what the curriculum that goes in our schools and stuff.
Instead of being on the front line.
Yeah.
They in the higher places. They in the offices and things like that.
They granddaddies placed them in a great place. You know what I'm saying? They killed our granddaddies. You know what I'm saying? They had cab businesses and stuff all through Eastern Maryland, and barber shops popping everywhere, soup shops, you know what I mean, clothing stores and all that. Yeah. Burnt them down and turned them into liquor stores.
And racism's interesting, man. It's real interesting because it opens your eyes to a lot of things. But I got a lot of questions, and my thing is, if racism, if it's such a big thing about attacks on blacks, then why do whites still attack whites? You know what I'm saying? On a mass scale, like I don't understand that.
It's a like I said, I think it's a society thing. Because some of those quote unquote pro white people are against Jewish people, and they have the same color skin. You know what I'm saying?
That doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
But they said it. I don't know, man. It's a lot of bullshit with that. Good God, but yeah, man, it's a lot of people out there that's yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
We ain't even talk about, because a lot of people don't even know about the music part of the, the industry of with these pro black people who did stuff for us that had white backgrounds. Like, did we mention Bob Marley?
Nah, we didn't say Bob Marley. So you want to tell them about Bob Marley?
Yeah, Bob Marley daddy was white.
His dad was white, y'all.
Yeah.
And I just found this out 20 minutes ago. Yo. And I'm thinking this nigga is the black of blacks, you know what I'm saying?
He got the blackest accent.
Accent.
Jamaica, stand up for real. But
yeah,
the one who we loved, who had a bigger following, that I think probably been notched or been the same height wise, as known around the world as Tupac. You know what I mean? Bob Marley. You know what I mean? Especially all the pro black people that try to say that, that.
They be quoting them a lot.
Yeah, and don't even know, they probably be against white people and stuff. Don't even know that he is half white.
Yeah, he's half white.
They would try to say that he was raped or something, or his mom was raped, or something like that. Instead of him being there was an interracial relationship there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. But that kind of blew my mind, man. And he was doing a lot of work. He was doing a lot of work for freedom.
Yeah.
For happiness, for justice, man. And if he ain't considered black, I don't know what y'all talking about for real. Y'all gonna try to tell. So if the main subject is basically saying that if you married to or have a white significant other or a non-black significant other, I should say, then you can't represent black people basically.
Black culture, yeah.
But what if you are a mixed person? You know what I'm saying? Can you represent the black culture then? What if your mom was white? What if your dad was white? Can you control that? You can't even control that.
What if your great grandmother was white?
This nigga said 4 or 5 greats.
But I'm saying you would have never known that had you had just looked in the mirror and just seen a black motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? You thinking you just, darky and shit, and there's no possible way that you can have any of that whitey sits in you.
Yeah.
But the whole time, that's your great grandmother.
Yeah, she was white the whole time. And it's just like I said with the guy.
Mother Goose.
Yeah, with the guy I met at the game, he was telling me how he had white family members.
Right.
And even with my girl, she's telling me that a lot of people over in Europe have traces of black in them, but you would never know that they have traces of black in them because they have European features. And it's a lot of things that go on. Like I heard of the Pope having like the black Madonna in the church. There's a black Madonna matter of fact, there is a black Madonna in the Catholic churches over there. Cause I had to go to the church over there cause my chick's sister got married. And I was at the wedding and everything. So there's a black Madonna with a black baby over there that they look up to.
That's history.
That's history, man. So we all mutts out here, man. Don't be trying to shit on us just because, or anybody out here, man. Like we was talking about, pussy is pussy, doggy.
Right. When we was talking on that, we was talking about how in the interracial relationships, like a lot of people have issues with them.
Yeah.
There were celebrities that was pushing against it. Like you know what I mean? Like you said something about Jill Scott was like bashing black men for dating white women and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's this whole article. Well, Jill Scott was basically she was upset because she met a guy that she liked, but then she saw the guy's wedding ring. And it's like as soon as she saw the guy's wedding ring, she said she knew for a fact that he wasn't married to a black chick. And then then come to find out that he had a white wife.
Right.
But you think there's a stereotype of the type of guy that dates a white woman, or the type of guy that only dates a black woman?
I think the way and I probably get some people against what I'm saying for
Make
real.
Make them mad.
But what I think is just the way that the female mind is wired. Mm-hmm. Like they just can simulate. Like I've had a lot of females come up to me and even say like, you probably only like white girls, don't you? And it's because the way I talk is a little different than the average black person they've been around, or the average nigga.
You actually have some conversation, huh?
Yeah.
You actually talk about some shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even at like the workplace or something, like women would come up to me and conversate. You know what I mean? Because I'm an extraordinary person. I'm very interesting.
Extraordinary gentleman over here.
Yeah. So
family.
I mean, a lot of women look at as mysterious and stuff. Want to talk and no more. And then when I talk to them, they like based off my intellect, they start to thinking you probably don't like white girls or something. You know what I mean? You can't handle me or something. Whole time, only been with a few white women in my life. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a couple. You know what I'm saying? Not a few, a couple. But you know what I mean? That's neither here nor there. But just to say that, you know, based off of how a person talk and stuff, like they just simulate that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I don't knock it or nothing, like, cause you know y'all got that intuition thing. Sometimes y'all be right, but y'all wasn't right. You know what I mean? With me, you know
Man,
what I mean?
don't say that. I hate that women's intuition thing. Man. I'm so against that shit.
I mean, that's what they believe in. You know, I ain't saying, you know what I mean, it's true.
Everybody got intuition. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
You feel your gut feeling. You know what I mean?
My thing is, if it was true that all women just had intuition, then they wouldn't be fucking up in relationships like they be fucking up. Like, for real. Like, let's keep it real.
Yeah.
Cause
it's thinking too much.
A lot of women be getting in some badass relationships. Where was your intuition then? You know what I'm saying? So I don't believe that they just are empowered with just women's intuition. Everybody has it.
They definitely can be naive. Definitely. I mean, but everybody can.
Yeah, we all can be naive.
You know what I mean? But yeah, and like some people like when I was telling you, based off of the interracial thing, like I knew of a white woman who was into black men, like she married a black man, but it wasn't because she liked the culture and all that. She wasn't for the culture like that. Like she didn't push for, like she didn't listen to, you know, hip hop, like the white girl, the average white girl that likes black men. They tend to be, you know, a little phony, you know what I mean, and a little, you know, ratchet or something like that. It's not the average, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But like she almost only liked black men as a fetish. Like,
yeah,
that was her sexual fantasy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And she had kids with guys and stuff like that. But she's not like, you know, I'm not gonna be at the black church or nothing like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She's not gonna march in the movements and be supporting it basically.
Yeah, and
she just want that cock
and everything worked for her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like that. With that being said, like that's how I see it. Like it's somewhat of a fantasy. You know what I mean? With people, it's not that, you know, you should only be with a black person just because you pro-black. You should follow your fantasy. You know, that's what you want. It's not that you only live once. You only die once. You live every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not gonna want to be around the same person every day. Like relationships come and go for real. So like, you know what I mean? That's why I have my own opinions on marriage and stuff, being locked down and stuff like that. You know, it's you know it's you know that's another podcast.
We'll have that on another show.
But yeah, yeah, you should follow your fantasy. You want to be happy. You know, you don't want to be upset. So whether it's a Indian girl and you just so happen to be German, you know what I mean. If it sparks, you know what I mean. Let it lit. Let it stay lit.
Yeah, man. You said something about fetishes and fantasies, right?
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if, like, isn't it a fetish or a fantasy for no matter what race or who you choose, you know, white, black, Puerto Rican, Haitian, man or woman, whatever you want to choose, I feel like that's your fantasy, that's your fetish, you know what I'm saying? That's what you desire, that's what you want. So even if, you know, there is a white woman who's with a black guy just because he got a 13-inch cock or whatever, and she's in love with the swag, you know, like isn't like there a fetish of guys who like fat women? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying though? There is. I swear to God, I've heard a lot of black dudes talk about they love themselves some big girls, yo.
Yeah.
And or some thick girls.
Yeah.
Either one or the other. And you know, I heard some black dudes say that they don't want to date with nobody but white girls. I heard black dudes say they don't date nobody but black girls. But the thing is, you know, you wanna know what's funny? I'm coming at all you dudes who got an issue with a black person having a non-black significant other, right? y'all be having the fucking lightest wives and the lightest husbands that you could find out here. Especially dudes. They be talking all this crap. I be seeing it online. They be talking smack about dudes who be dating white girls, black dudes who be dating white girls or dating out of the race. But their wives be light skinned. They be more yellow than the sun.
Right. And like I was saying before, that stems from too, like what's pushed in the media since we was kids, you know what I mean? Like if you look back at our cartoons, yo, all of our cartoons, it was the blonde, long blonde hair character, you know what I mean, with the big blue eyes or something like that. That figure was always the one. Even if we look at pop culture with Marilyn Monroe and Madonna and Elizabeth Taylor and all them, they were our icons. You know what I mean? We had Pam Grier, but they didn't push her out like that. That was black. They categorized our movies back then as blaxploitation. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that wasn't even really popular nationwide. Yeah. You know what I mean? So everything that was nationwide was that pure butter skin, with the blue eyes,
pure Madonna.
Long hair. You know what I mean?
Blue eyes, blonde hair.
That was always looked at, as the heartthrob. Yeah. And we so blind, we don't even realize that that's what we always was looking for, with that figure eight and all that stuff. Because now you can get a damn figure eight in any damn color. It used to be just black women, the color that was thick.
But white girls that came up,
they
be having asses too.
Yeah, and back then it was only Marilyn Monroe, Elizabeth Taylor who had those four figures back then.
But they wasn't like, they didn't have figures like, a lot of chicks be having now.
Sure, you look at Marilyn Monroe, they was compared to the white women
back then.
Yeah, they was the
they was the pinnacle.
Yeah, they was like, you know what I mean? Like even like Betty Boop.
Remember that cartoon? So she was modeled after that.
They made her white, but the person that they got that name from was from a black person. That's Black history.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's dope, yo. I think on that note, man, we're going to take a little break here. I was thinking about not taking a break and just flowing, but I think we're going to take a little break here. And we'll be right back with you with the Pure Black Dope podcast with Taj and Webb. And we'll be right back.
Yes, it's Tashi. Hey, let me exercise my Second Amendment. I'm stepping by my lonely, I got my weapon on me. I'm stepping by my lonely, I got my weapon on me. I'm stepping by my lonely, I got my weapon on me. I'm stepping by my lonely, I got my weapon on me. I got my weapon on me, like that's my only homie. I got my weapon on me, like that's my only homie. I got my weapon on me, like that's my only homie. I got my weapon on me, like that's my only homie. They criticized and put the gun on my head. They said, off with his head, then they left me for dead. Dirty rumors cause I had a run into the feds. And they ain't even know the facts, still you ate what they fed. Had me feeling so numb, so betrayed, so cray. Had me feeling so dumb cause they slayed my name. Yo, when you're so young and you're so underpaid, what you think you're gonna do when surrounded by cocaine? And I ain't know what I was doing. They was talking street and at the time I was influenced. I thought I was the truest, till I landed in the sewage. All it takes is one influence to realize you're only human. Ooh, damn, I felt so foolish. I was used to giving Cupid to Cupid, had me diluted. Still, I run my motor like I live in Detroit, cause now my voice is my weapon of choice. Now rejoice, you feel me? I'm stepping by my lonely, I got my weapon on me. I'm stepping by my lonely, I got my weapon on me. I'm stepping by my lonely, I got my weapon on me. I'm stepping by my lonely, I got my weapon on me. I got my weapon on me, like that's my only homie. I got my weapon on me, like that's my only homie. I got my weapon on me, like that's my only homie. I got my weapon on me, like that's my only homie. They criticized and said that I was too small, and they ain't even have a reason at all. And I believed in it all, made me feel I wasn't worthy at all. And that's the reason why I quit football. Hold on, man, and plus the money called back and forth to the mall. Me driving my nigga Paul, how the hell did we fall? Had potential to be the stars, and I just wanted the cars and the bras, get in they drawers and be out by the morning. Back then I didn't see the bigger picture. Too busy getting high like every day was sipping liquor. Like every other day was feeling low and feeling bitter. And I blamed it on the fact I didn't have no father figure. Ooh, drowning in the pool with the fools and the mules. Take a walk in my shoes. Still I run my motor like I live in Detroit, cause now my voice is my weapon of choice. Now rejoice, you feel me? I'm stepping by my lonely, I got my weapon on me. I'm stepping by my lonely, I got my weapon on me. I'm stepping by my lonely, I got my weapon on me. I'm stepping by my lonely, I got my weapon on me. I got my weapon on me, like that's my only homie. I got my weapon on me, like that's my only homie. I got my weapon on me, like that's my only homie. I got my weapon on me, like that's my only homie. They criticized and said that I wasn't shit, but every day them bitches wanted to dick. Yeah, I never been the type who wanted to trick, but still my treats kept my phone so lit. Listen, didn't know how to whip the soda, was no Casanova, but the pressure made me colder, turned me to a cobra, twisted just like some yoga, felt cheap as a quarter. Here I give the vivid pic so you can smell the aroma. Sniff, take a hit, take a sip. Honestly, I ain't know what to do without the piff. And honestly, sometimes I take a sip to escape, especially after work when I have a hard day. Hey, cause in my heart I am the boss. Can't tell me what to do, cause on this field I'm Randy Moss. Still I run my motor like I live in Detroit, cause now my voice is my weapon of choice. Now rejoice, you feel me? I'm stepping by my lonely, I got my weapon on me. I'm stepping by my lonely, I got my weapon on me. I'm stepping by my lonely, I got my weapon on me. I'm stepping by my lonely, I got my weapon on me. I got my weapon on me, like that's my only homie. I got my weapon on me, like that's my only homie. I got my weapon on me, like that's my only homie. I got my weapon on me, like that's my only homie.
Hey, what's going on, fam? And welcome back to the Pure Black Dope Podcast. You are here with Taj AlexandHer and Webb Primo. And we got into some deep discussion, basically talking about a post that we saw on Facebook. And the post was talking about you can't be a black activist with a non-black significant other. Webb, we were just sitting here contemplating, and Webb was kind of talking about how a lot of people are in the dark about the things we've been talking about and what we can do to kind of get the word out there and enlighten people, especially the younger generation, enlighten them so that they can know what's going on and not just be fed a bunch of stuff, by the media. Basically, the media is just feeding a whole bunch of crap out here.
Or accidentally by ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Because we could accidentally, just because of how we've been raised, our program, we might accidentally push the agenda further. Just them, like,
subconsciously,
what I mean?
right?
Even with us saying little slick stuff, like, you know what I mean? Even like it goes both ways. Like, with black people, we be like, man, don't be eating from them white people. They don't like to wash their hands. You know what I'm saying? or what white people are saying, you know what I mean? Don't you be around them black people? You gonna end up smoking weed and sagging pants and then getting pregnant and all that shit. You know what I mean? You keep fucking around with them niggas, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the stereotype.
Yeah.
Even
what they talk about Hispanics, like, don't be around Hispanics. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you gonna end up robbing, stealing.
You gonna end up stabbing a
niggas.
That's another thing. Like, one of my favorite comedians is I think his name is Ricky Gervais. And one thing that he specializes in is that type of comedy where it's funny because it's racist. You know what I mean? Like it's like that part of reality that is so messed up that it make you want to laugh.
Yeah.
Like how I just did that shit right there with the whole Mexican stabbing niggas and shit, which
sure.
is not a good. That's the stereotype built in America on that heritage.
Oh yeah. Stereotypes is everything, right?
It's like, you know, they say we a bunch of crack babies or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Like there's a lot of stereotypes out there, man, and I just feel like in order to get that message out there, people just have to be more. Of course, it's cliche to say be more open, but you know, I feel like if you can like I don't know. I'm trying to put myself in the mind frame of these kids now, and just thinking about where they are, and where they are, they're basically born in a very, very diverse world. You know what I'm saying?
They born in a world that is diverse, in a world that nobody else has experienced before. Because we are so advanced in technology now that something new comes out almost every week.
Yeah.
You remember when you know how long it took for a PlayStation 2 to come out?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now they got the shit, you know, like this, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
New games and shit popping up and shit. Like, you don't even need to go to the store no more to buy games.
Yeah, you can download them right offline.
You can pre-order them and all that.
Pre-order,
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, so like there's no need for patience anymore. And that's what I noticed in the schools. A lot of these kids don't have patience. They want it now, and that's going to be the failure of them. You know what I mean? If they actually want success, because success don't always happen overnight.
And it rarely ever happens overnight,
Yeah.
to tell you the truth. I mean, accidental success happens like that, but it takes a lot of work, man. I'm noticing it with me. Like, even with me, I'm going to the gym, and I'm building a business. This shit is giving me a headache. Sometimes I don't feel like building this business. Sometimes I'll be like, man, damn, I don't know if I want to do this right now. But it's like, I gotta be like, this is my baby. I gotta take care of my baby, and I'm gonna keep going. It just takes time and patience to just learn certain things. And I feel like, you know, over time people will learn. They'll learn that it takes patience, but
also it took discipline too.
Yeah.
And all of us, we got that instilled discipline with us, and just part of our generation. That's why I say we the last of a dying breed, because a lot of kids today lack that discipline. They don't fear nothing. You know what I'm saying? They act like they ready for whatever consequence, not even knowing how hard it hit them.
But I don't even think it's that they don't fear shit. I just think that they just don't know the consequences of shit. You know what I'm saying? Cause I heard a lot that they say kids don't fear nothing these days. It might be true to a certain degree, but I don't think it's true, because when they face certain real situations, a lot of this new generation not harder than the last generation or the race.
Smart either.
You don't think they are smart?
Nah,
I don't know, man. Like that's a whole different thing, yo. I don't know if they're not as smart.
I think a lot of the ones that is doing the stuff, like I don't know. What I meant by that was you got people that grew up in certain circumstances, right? All right, so if you take a project kid from the 90s and a project kid nowadays, I feel like the project kid from the 90s has that just a little bit more knowledge than the project kid from nowadays, because of the patience that they had to go through, like waiting and stuff. Like they both may not have a meal at waiting on them at night, but it's just a certain way that you can get around and carry yourself in the 90s compared to how kids are baby nowadays. Like everything is handed to them.
Yeah.
And stuff. Like even if you're a project kid now, you still privileged. A lot of things that a 90s project kid didn't have. Yeah. And the more you're without, the more you start to like. It's like, you know what I mean? Like the junkyard kids. You know what I'm saying? The more you're without, the more of an imagination you have, the more creative you are.
It's basically like somebody growing up, like one family growing up with a microwave and another family just growing up with a stove. You know,
or not even that. Maybe just a hot plate.
Or just a hot plate.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? I knew. You know what I mean? I knew kids that grew up with just a hot plate in the motel room. Mm-hmm. That was where they slept at. Mm-hmm. And there's project kids, you know what I mean? They got a microwave, they got a stove, they got central air and heat. You know what I'm saying? But they in the projects. Yeah. But they just not living as hard as that '90s kid did.
Yeah, they had nowadays kids got the convenience of technology. Right. Basically. Right. And technology is making life easier for them. Mm-hmm. But I'm thinking back in the '90s, there was no smartphone. There not everybody. There were no flat screens.
You really thought it was a no way out situation.
Yeah, there was like no way out.
And nowadays you can go buy a $20 phone and get on an app. Yeah. And at least make it look like your life is extravagant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the phone can
look at the difference between a good example, Chris Tucker versus DC Young Fly. You know what I mean? Look at the way that Chris Tucker came up. He had to actually go out on stage, get booed and all that. Yeah. DC Young Fly just posted this shit
all on the internet
and made a following through that. And he didn't have to have people. You can drown out the people that didn't like you. Yeah. He had more people that liked him and stuff. Yeah. And that's all that mattered. True. And even still, now today you can pay for followers.
Yeah, it's a whole different world. Like
it was more hunger.
They definitely had to put the pedal to the metal, and now it seems like it's easier to be successful.
Nothing against DC or Fly too.
Yeah. Dope for real. We're just pointing out the differences, right? Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting, man. Like personally, I just think that I think the culture kind of has to change a bit, and that means like music and TV, because I'm thinking about certain music back in the 90s. It was kind of conscious, man. It was kind of conscious, and it was more like
it was more pro-black.
Fight the power, fuck the police, shit like that. They were all about the culture. Now it's just all about having fun. Mm-hmm. I feel like everybody's just like YOLO. You only live once. You only got one life to live it to the fullest, and all that crap. I feel like that type of mentality is getting people in trouble, and it's making people think that, if I'm a 12-year-old, 13-year-old kid, and I'm listening to rappers talking about, you only live once, blah blah blah, all this crap. So what's there to say that I'm not gonna go out here and do a bunch of dumbass shit like I did? You know what I'm saying? I did a bunch of dumb shit when I was a kid, but I feel like if I was a kid now, I'd probably do a lot more dumber shit, to tell you the truth. Cause it's a narrative that says that I can do dumb shit and get rewarded for it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that back then. It was like you do dumb shit, you get outcast. You a dumbass, right? Now you do dumb shit, you the man.
Yeah, you got clout.
Yeah, right. Right, man. So it's kind of different. I just feel like the culture kind of has to change, and the verbiage has to change. TV has to change, because all these images and all this music, all this pushing is destruction, man. Pop a pill, fuck your girl. Like all this shit is really toxic, man.
Let's not pop a pill. Let's pop some Luther Vandross in the radio and make love to your girl.
Yeah. Man, do anybody say that anymore?
Hell no. Don't like, fuck that
bitch. Yeah. Don't nobody say that no more, man. The value of love has changed in 10,
niggas
20
be talking
years.
About they don't even want the pussy. They just want their head. I'm like, whoa, nigga.
Yeah.
Get that from anybody, nigga. What you
about? Yeah, you about to go on.
Yeah, man. Like, niggas is wild on the radio now, so I've them peeped that. You know what I mean? That's why I'm very selective to what I'm listening to, because I know what I like. Yeah. And I'm just a stubborn person.
Yeah, you ever be listening to music and just out of the blue they say something just make you be like, what?
Yeah.
And it don't be no bar, it ain't no punchline. Like I used to say, I'd be like, what? To like a bar, a heavy punchline or something. Now it's like, oh down on the spring, on the spring. And then I bent over and took it in the ass.
The one thing that got me on some real shit was the motherfucking JB Block Boy JB joint where he was like, I'm gonna blow you like a flute.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. Yeah. Niggas was like, yo, you know what he meant. And I'm like, nigga, I know what he said. Nigga. Don't tell me what I know what he meant, nigga. I know what he said. Nigga.
You better change your verbiage. Nah, I don't know
but
what
that's
you
so
meant.
acceptable. Like,
yeah.
Man, that nigga ain't gay, but why he say that?
Why he say that? Yeah. It'd be a lot of gun references and gang references that's kind of, that make you think that they funny.
No gun in that. I heard that.
Yeah.
Blowing an instrument.
That was instantly sexual,
a woodwind
right?
instrument. Yeah.
Oh God, man. Hey yo, hey, all of my youngins out there. Hey, listen, fam. I think a good thing would be a good thing for the youngins to do would be to study history, cause a lot of us don't fuck with history. They like I when I was in high school, I didn't give a shit about history. That shit was real boring to me, and they wasn't. I don't know. Maybe it was the teacher. Maybe it's just the atmosphere. Maybe my motivation. Whatever, man.
History was my favorite subject. Yo.
Was it?
I took 5 history classes in high school.
That's what's up.
One of them was African American history.
That's what's up.
And it was taught by a black man. So
Yeah.
I was satisfied.
Okay.
The year after that, they had a white man teaching, and everybody, they discontinued the class because everybody was like, that's some bullshit. Shout out to Eastern High School.
Oh,
it was on some bullshit.
Man, on some bullshit. Hey, man. Study your history, man. Even if y'all gotta watch clips of it, like 2-3 minute clips on YouTube, just go on there and just be like, just type in what was life like in the 90s and just have fun. What was life like in the 80s? What was life like in the 70s? I think if we kind of not take people's lives for granted, like we be, like everybody think they the shit and they don't have to pay homage to nobody. Right. You know what I'm saying?
I think digging back, like if you tell a kid to look back at the 70s, the 90s, and the 80s, I think that they should start looking at certain statistics based on their culture. And if they really want to know anything, they will go further back into the 60s, 50s, and 40s. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's the biggest height of black people, coming around. You talk about the 40s, going into the 40s, it's starting to come into where we starting to try to fight for our right to vote and stuff. Mm-hmm. And the 50s and 60s, that's when we started to try to get certain transportation going into certain schools and stuff. Mm-hmm. But the 70s, 80s, and 90s, that was the 70s was pretty much the ending of black power to me, because it got watered down with drugs,
with crack.
And that war really fucked everything up for the culture too. The Vietnam War, and then the war against the Black Panthers. You know what I mean?
But even before that, you said it was. You was saying that we was thriving in the like the 70s, 60s.
No, well,
50s,
the 40s, 50s, even the 20s and stuff, like
when we was coming together.
It was the NAACP in the early 1900s when it started. The advancement of colored people was the move, mm-hmm. And then the media just kind of fucked everything up, movies and music became a real big distraction in our culture. And it was the only thing that make us happy.
Entertainment.
And that's when drugs started coming in heavier, you know what I mean? And there was only one way drugs coming in this country.
It seemed like the system took advantage of our depression.
Yeah.
They took advantage of our depression and gave the black communities the crack and then the entertainment with like even hip hop. Like that could even be a X factor because it changed.
It changed when they bought it.
It changed over like a 10-year period.
Because they didn't know that it was going to be a big boom. That's why they commercialized it early with the Sugar Hill Gang, mm-hmm. to make it poppy, like, you know what I mean. And then when the Fat Boys and them came, it became more urban. they started putting more urban shit on the radio. And then when they seen the direction that, you know, people like, you know, Rakim and this motherfucking
KRS.
African Bob Bottom, KRS One Boogie Down Productions.
Raz Cat.
You know what I mean? When they started talking about, you know, what it's really like and telling real stories and stuff, and you know what I mean? NWA and Public Enemy came out. That's when it was like, look, we can't, you know, we got to start monitoring this a little bit better.
Yeah, we can't have these niggas out here getting all empowered and things, huh?
Yeah, but I seen somebody named Old Dirty Bastard. Let's see what this. Let's
push him out there.
You know what I mean? Then you know what I mean. So they like, oh, these niggas think it's funny.
Yeah.
you wanna make fun of us reading your name. You know what I mean? Making us think that you're a dumbass, having us being a dumbass, preparing you to speak to your culture in a way that we don't understand. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
So why don't, you know, well, let's just fuck these niggas all up. Let's just put some fake niggas. You know what
Take
I mean?
the real niggas out.
Industry, yeah.
Put the fake niggas in. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's kind of crazy how that whole game goes, dog. It's we've been exploited. We've been manipulated. We've been bamboozled, y'all, like they say. But my thing is this. Knowing that we've been bamboozled and manipulated and maybe continue to be manipulated, y'all need to get yourself up on game. If you are in the dark, y'all need to get yourself up on game. Because it's only two things that you can really do. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to be successful, it's only two things you can do. You gotta fucking suck it up, and you gotta step it up.
Or, like I like to always say, get with it or get left behind.
Get with it or get gone, right?
Yeah.
So listen, fam, y'all gotta think about this a little bit. What you gonna do out here? Do y'all want to be puppets for the entertainment industry? Do y'all want to be puppets for, you know, like, man, I could take this a whole lot of ways, man. I don't want to keep going, but listen, fam. Listen, it's been fun. We might have to come back with a part 2. Maybe Sam can join us next time. Sam, get your ass back here, man.
Happy Valentine's Day, Sam. We knew what you was doing. Your man told you not to come out the house.
That's what it was.
We get it. We understand.
Yeah, we get it, yo. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, fam, it's been fun. Hey, you have been tuned in to the Pure Black Dope Podcast with Taj and Webb, and we will see y'all next week. And we out of here.
Peace.
Peace.